The automatic doors slid open with that familiar whoosh of air, and before you even stepped inside, it hit you. That particular smell of fresh cardboard and new plastic, mixed with something else you couldn't quite name but would never forget. Children pulled at their parents' hands, not tugging exactly, more like urging, because they already knew what was waiting for them just past those doors. The giraffe on the sign outside had promised it. Some things only make sense if you lived them. Walking into Toys R Us was one of those things. You didn't just visit that store, you entered it, like crossing a threshold into somewhere that belonged entirely to childhood, even if you were the adult holding the shopping list. Even if you had no intention of buying a single thing that day. Welcome to Golden Days USA. The first thing you noticed after the smell was the size of it all. Aisles stretched out in every direction, higher than they had any right to be, stacked floor to ceiling with boxes you wanted to touch but probably shouldn't. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting that particular glow over everything, making the colors brighter, the packaging shinier, the possibilities endless. There was a sound too, not loud exactly, but present. A low buzz of excitement from the children scattered through the store, mixed with the occasional beep of a price scanner, the squeak of a shopping cart wheel that needed oil, and somewhere in the distance a demo toy going off on its own. A talking robot, a battery-powered train, a toy piano playing 3 notes on repeat. You learned to tune it out, but it was always there, the quiet heartbeat of the place. And everywhere you looked, something caught your eye. Something you remembered from last Christmas, something you wished you'd had as a kid, something you'd completely forgotten until you saw it sitting on that shelf, still in its box, waiting for someone new. That feeling doesn't exist in quite the same way anymore. Before the big box stores and the online warehouses, before you could click a button and have something arrive at your door by tomorrow, there were stores like this, places you drove to on purpose, places your family made an occasion out of visiting. Toys R Us became that place for millions of American families. It wasn't just where you bought toys, it was where toys lived, where Christmas wishes took shape, where birthday lists got written in the mind, aisle by aisle, shelf by careful shelf. Parents trusted it, children believed in it, and somehow it didn't matter if you left empty-handed. The trip itself was the thing, the experience. The gentle understanding that it would always be there when you needed it, when the next occasion rolled around, when the next child in the family reached the age of wanting. For a long time, that trust never wavered. The ritual usually started in the car. Someone said the words, "We're going to Toys R Us," and everything in the back seat changed. The energy shifted. Windows got foggy from excited breathing. Arguments about who got to sit where dissolved into pure anticipation. Then the parking lot, that massive lot that always seemed full but never quite full enough to turn you away. You found a spot, you unbuckled, and then came the walk toward those towering letters and that giraffe, Geoffrey, standing guard at the entrance like an old friend who had never aged a single day. Inside, there was an unspoken agreement. Children were allowed to wander, within reason. To disappear into the action figure aisle or the stuffed animal section or the Barbie display with its pink glow or wherever their hearts pulled them. Parents trailed behind, sometimes finding their own excuses to linger near the model train sets or the board games or the bicycles lined up along the back wall, wheels still spinning slightly from the last kid who tested them. And the prices. You remember those yellow price tags, don't you? Handwritten sometimes, printed other times. Games for $19.99, action figures for $6 and change, a new bike for under $100 if you saved long enough, if you worked hard enough at your chores, if your birthday was coming and you played your cards just right. Do you remember the video game section? The little television screens mounted above the display cases, running demos on loop. Kids would gather there like it was a museum exhibit, controllers in hand, playing the same level of the same game over and over together, even though they never met before. No one organized it. No one had to. It just happened naturally, strangers becoming temporary teammates under those buzzing lights. And every time, there was one quiet moment people waited for. The moment when a child spotted something, the thing, on a shelf just out of reach. The way their eyes went wide. The way they turned back slowly to find their parent, not asking out loud yet, but hoping with every fiber of their small selves. That look, it was the whole point of being there. Sometimes the answer was yes. Sometimes it was maybe for your birthday. Sometimes it was a gentle no that somehow didn't break anything permanent, because there was always the promise of next time, always another trip, always another chance. And maybe that's what you remember most. Not the toys you got, but the ones you wanted. The ones you saw and imagined owning. The ones that stayed with you longer as dreams than they ever would have, as objects sitting on a shelf in your room. What was the one toy you never stopped thinking about? The one that got away? The one you can still picture even now? No one can say exactly when things began to change. Not really. It happened slowly, the way most endings do. One day you noticed the aisles weren't as crowded. The lines at checkout moved faster, not because they were more efficient, but because there were fewer people standing in them. Computers became common in homes. Then the internet arrived. Then websites where you could find anything anytime without leaving your couch, without loading the kids in the car, without making the drive, without even putting on shoes. It was easier, it was faster, it was, in many ways, undeniably better. But something was different. There was no whoosh of automatic doors, no fluorescent hum filling the air, no demo toys playing their little songs in the distance, no wandering through an aisle you hadn't planned to visit and finding something that surprised you. No watching other families experience the same joy you were experiencing. That silent connection between strangers who understood exactly what this place meant. And no Geoffrey standing at the entrance with his long neck and friendly spots, welcoming you inside like you were exactly who he'd been waiting for. When the stores finally closed, when the shelves were emptied and the lights went dark for good, it wasn't just a business shuttering its doors. It felt like a quiet goodbye to something we hadn't realized we were still holding on to, a piece of growing up that no longer had a physical home in the world. The giraffe didn't leave because people stopped caring about him. He left because the world moved forward without saving room for that kind of simple, patient, in-person magic anymore. Here's the thing about Toys R Us. It was never really about the toys. It was about the anticipation, the permission to want without apology, the slow ritual of choosing and imagining and hoping for something with your whole heart. It was about parents watching their children light up and remembering, suddenly, what it felt like to light up themselves. It was about a place that seemed to exist outside of ordinary time, where age didn't matter quite as much, where wonder was arranged on every shelf, and where nobody rushed you toward the exit. Those feelings don't expire. They don't get replaced by faster shipping or more efficient algorithms. They stay with us, sometimes buried under busy years and shifting priorities, but always ready to surface when the right memory floats back up to meet us. Maybe that's why Geoffrey still matters. Not because he sold us toys, but because he gave us a place where childhood had a permanent address, where families could slow down, wander without a schedule and dream together, even if just for 1 hour on a Saturday afternoon. That place is gone now, the buildings repurposed, the parking lots quiet, the brand a gentle ghost of everything it used to be. But the memory belongs to us. To everyone who walked through those doors and let themselves believe, even for a moment, that maybe, just maybe, growing up was optional. If this brought back good memories, please like and subscribe to Golden Days USA for more stories like this. And before you go, can you still hear it? That jingle playing somewhere in the back of your mind, the one that promised you from the very first note that you didn't have to grow up? Not if you didn't want to. Not completely. Not ever.